Hello and welcome to episode 22 of the JurassicWorld.org podcast. It sounds weird saying
that. Sounds.
22.
I feel like we just jumped from like 12 to 22. What the hell?
Right?
I don't remember the other ones.
Neither do I. Neither does the audience. They don't remember.
Are we sure we're on 22?
Just before I introduce our guests, remember to go to famousids.com and use coupon code JWORG for 20% discount. And JurassicFangear.com as well. They officially sponsor the podcast. Jonathan there's made some amazing stuff, including a little Eastdock sign pen that does spin.
I love that pen. When people come over, they immediately see that pen and they're like, "Where did you get that?"
Yeah. It's amazing. The voice you hear with me is, of course, Chris Likes Dinos. We're also joined with Asees map_index. How you doing, man?
Oh, man. I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Yeah, good, man. And we are also joined with Nate, Jurassic June.
Yo.
Nate. It's Nate.
That's it. What's up, guys?
How you doing, man?
I'm great. How are y'all?
Tell us all about Jurassic June this year.
Oh my gosh, dude. It was insane. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It was utterly insane, man. It was... I had an idea of, like, we're going to blow it out and do a bunch of giveaways and, fun contests. And I honestly couldn't even keep up with it all. And then if you go to the website, there's a little story, and those who follow will know the story of Chris and my adventure. Well, like separate but together adventure. Out in LA.
Wait, there's a story online about that?
Yeah, well, not really. I drop your name,
okay. I've been so out of the loop.
I just know on JurassicJune.com I wrote up a little blog of the story of going to the premiere and stuff like that. It was crazy.
Super lucky. Me and Asees just sat at home, working our asses off, being super jealous. It's fine. It's fine. You guys had a great time.
Well, dude, it was so crazy because, Chris had his separate story, and we hung out the night before, and I hung out with, Chris and Jack and Tim, and we were all just shooting the breeze, talking about stuff, and I was laying it on pretty thick that night. How jealous I was that I wasn't going to go to the premiere. The three of them were, and I was laying it on pretty thick. But it was a fun night. And then because I was on vacation with my family. My little brother got married I think it was 5 days prior, and so we were hanging out in LA. And I told my wife, I'm going to go to the premiere and live streaming on Periscope and just be there for that experience. We're here. I'm gonna do it. So, man, it was out of this world. You got
lucky, man. You got really lucky.
It was so cool.
It's a funny story, and obviously those listening, you can check out how it happened on your Jurassic June Periscope video that's there on YouTube.
It's it is, and it's on. The best way to kind of figure out the whole story is JurassicJune.com. There's a lengthy post about it. You can see, so there's two Periscope videos. The first is like at the very tail end. You see Colin Trevorrow walking down, and I'm kind of positioned over top. I got kicked out of the red carpet area. Jonathan from Jurassic Fangear was down there saving me a spot, and I got there, and the bodyguard or whatever, rent-a-cop kicked me out, and I was like, dude, come on. I was about to bribe him. I had $1 in my pocket.
What a badass.
I was like, dadgummit. And I was like, do you know how much this means to me? So I was like,
they were even giving me troubles.
Yeah. Were they?
Yeah, I'm like, I got a ticket. They're like, oh.
Yeah, they were, it was a big deal. It was, a lot of important people, and I'm sure they were told, be strict. So it's all good. So I went up one level. It was like this big outdoor mall area. People saw the pictures. So I had a pretty good spot. Anyway, so I was within shouting distance of a couple of all the celebrities at the end of the photography line. I see Colin come down, and so you'll see the video. You know, I'm yelling at whoever walks through, and these like little 5-year-old girls that were with their parents next to me, and I see Colin and I say, "Hey, Colin, what's up, dude?" And I point to my shirt, and you can see at the end of the video, like it just gets shaky and like I like just drop my phone, like pull my phone down because I say, "Really, right now?" Because he points at me and points to the ground. And he's like, "You come here," and I was like, "Oh crap!" So
That's so
I
sad.
was
remember
like,
when you
grab
called
my
me.
bag. Did I? Yeah, I did. It's all a blur. It was just after that moment, I was like, I grabbed my bag. I'm like, how the crap do I get downstairs? I was like, you know, I cut through a private party Jimmy Kimmel was having next door, and like ran down 2 flights of stairs. Colin's right there, and he asked for Chris, and he was like, "Hey, are you Jurassic June?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm Nate. It's so awesome to meet you." And he goes, Is anyone else with you? Is Chris likes dinos here? And I was like, no, he already got in. He's in there. And he's like, oh, good. That's good to hear. And pulls out a ticket. He's like, have an awesome night. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I like grab the ticket. I said, where do I go? And he goes, I don't know. Ask someone. I was like, okay, thank you so much. You know, I'm like freaking out. And so I FaceTime with my wife real quick, and I was like, hey, oh my gosh, and she starts crying. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm so jealous, I hate you. she's at the hotel with the 2 little kids. It's like, I'm sorry, but I'm going. I'm going in. And so, and then the second Periscope video is me in there being just like, what the hell just happened? Like, just blown away, man. It was unreal. Like, probably the best story I could ever have up to this point.
That's insane.
Yeah, because I was in the theater when you called me, and you're like, Chris, I got in. I'm like, how? What? I'm like, you told me, I'm like, that is the most amazing story I've ever heard.
It totally is, man. And it's just a cool testament to how freaking down to earth and you know, just the man that Colin Trevorrow is, man. He just like, he cares about his fans, you know. I think if we were all there, he would. I know, because he asked me that question. I know he had a handful of tickets he could have given, and I kind of feel bad because I guess I could have invited JT. I wasn't thinking clearly. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, man, it was awesome to say the least. So
like the perfect kind of end to
totally
to a real Jurassic. This is the 2nd year of Jurassic June now, right?
That's correct. Yeah,
and I mean, how are you going to peak this? Like, how are you going to?
I know. That's what. At this point now, I'm thinking like, you know, I'm trying to decide kind of what direction to take it. Like, I'm enjoying the fact that it's July, the fact that I have one contest and I don't have to deal with anything else, and like, yeah, I'm still keeping up the hype until they have the Blu-ray DVD release, and then I'll probably bring it down to a simmer until you know, until we get to next June. So the beauty of it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been doing, at least me personally. Like, now that the movie's out, now that June's over, now that the hype the hype is still around, but the hype has kind of, you know, peaked.
Sure.
I'm taking a kind of mental break from the site.
Yeah, I think
it's kind of nice to not have to worry about that at the moment, because it was like a full-time job at the end of it, and I know Chris feels the same way, because we were pumping out articles and
not me though, because you know how I am.
Not Asees. He's just in the background, you know.
He was pumping out something.
I'm so useless.
Asees,
I'm like the useless
yeah,
on the site.
Asees is pumping something out.
Oh man,
it's not for the site.
Well, it might be for some site. I don't know. We're just gonna leave it.
Yeah, we'll keep. Yeah, it's for some sites.
Yeah, I mean, it's a valid money-making opportunity, right?
It could.
You
could make money.
Depends on how you play your cards. And
and it depends how valuable, you know, a cease would be in that regard. But anyway, yeah. So it's nice to be breaking from the site, but to those who may be worried, don't worry at all. We're still here. We're still prominent. We're actually working on something pretty damn big and exciting that we're hoping to have ready by Christmas. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that's fun stuff.
In fact, Chris, that reminds me, I have something to show you.
Ooh.
Ooh!
It also might involve me doing some work, which is unbelievable.
I think people should know at the very least. You give us input behind the scenes. You're like, okay, boys, write an article about this. Boys, look what I found. Can you write an article about it? Nah.
So I'm sure as hell not going to write the article.
It was that one time, Asees, where you popped up. I was at work, Chris was at work, everyone was busy, and you were like, hey guys, write this article. And I was just like, hey man, write it yourself. And you were like, yeah, okay. It was like, come on,
That's the first
dude.
and only time you restricted me. I'm like, it's like, oh, he's actually serious about this. Yeah. And I almost left the site because of that stupid article. I'm like, I'm not doing this shit no more. There was that stupid first impressions for Jurassic World were starting to come out on Twitter. And I had to format all those pictures and shit. Oh. I couldn't do it.
Ooh, it's so hard.
I know, it's too much.
Once you get used to it, it's not that hard. But
oh, dude, it's a piece of piss. The news is so easy to write.
But
like, look how quick Ryan. Why the hell isn't Ryan on this podcast?
We gotta get him on.
We brought Ryan in to write some stuff, and he's been pumping out articles, and he's learned it so quickly. I've been like giving him like tutorials through email, and the next thing I know, he's better than me. So just like he's a good asset to the team.
Yeah, like the only thing I struggle with is
Ryan's
making it read fun. Like I always try to like add a little flair to the articles and like make it read pretty well. So like sometimes I'll like sit there and pull my hair out. I'm like, how do I open the article? It kills me. I don't know how to open my damn article.
No, Chris, I agree with you. Especially when you're tired and you're like, how am I going to start this? And then you're like, in 1990... No, that doesn't ring up. Once upon a... No, it doesn't. It's just not working. Yeah, you throw it out. I think before we go into the sequel news, we should talk about the contest that we did with Nate. The selfie contest. We'd briefly chat about the winners, and then Nate, if you want to, we could talk about the new one.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, it was fun. We had a ton of entries. I didn't actually look. I didn't tabulate. I guess I could look while we're talking. How many entries we had? There was a bunch on Twitter, a bunch on Instagram. The My Jurassic Selfie contest. Man, it wound up being really fun. Some crazy entries,
hilarious
right, totally, man. Like some we couldn't choose for reasons we are not allowed to divulge. No, man, we.
What are you talking about?
Man,
she's good, man. She's good. And she...
What are you on about?
Oh, see, we didn't show you those entries.
Since you were on there, you were on the chat.
You think I was paying attention?
Yeah, man, it was awesome. There were so many, just people with their collections, and then you could
tell some really creative ones.
Yeah, just people would go out of their way, days of prep. Okay, maybe not days, but hours of prep. And man, I think it was so hard to narrow down 3 of them. I would say this though. The guy that won first place, who had the selfie stick above the Mosasaurus, when that came through, when was it? I think it was like one of the first days in June. So it was pretty early on. And I knew like immediately, I was like, dude, that's it.
I'm pretty sure we all chose that guy as our number one. As well.
Yeah.
Because
like,
that's just
so funny.
Yeah. It was so good. It was so good. That guy, and I think he like lives in Bangkok or something like that. So like all the way around the world, bringing the goods. So yeah, man, it was super fun, and we had a blast with it. Thank you to everyone who entered, and honestly, there were so many. I wish I could, give a prize to everyone.
It was tough. In fact, we debated for like a week over who should win. There were some really obvious ones, and then there were some that I think we all had a set 3. That's what we decided on anyway. But it was hard trying to narrow it down. But I think
it was. I
think we chose well those who really deserved it.
Yeah, I think so. And it was fun. That was one of the most involved contests I ran during June, and then I had a couple others that were just crazy fun, and gave away a freaking cryo can, which is awesome. That dude was freaking out. He was like, "Oh my gosh!" I mean,
some seriously cool stuff, man.
Yeah, man. And so
I think it was just it was the perfect way to round off Jurassic June, I think, with a selfie contest like that, because it just worked. People were so into that. And people were taking selfies anyway because of, I'm at the cinema after 14 years of waiting and I'm watching Jurassic World. I'm going to take a fucking selfie. We all did it. We all did it.
Might as well win something for it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, no, it was great. We are launching a new contest within the next couple of days with Jurassic June, where we're giving away... It's actually a while ago we were approached by Fathead.com. They do a load of huge wall prints, like in kids' bedrooms you'd see massive wall stickers and stuff like that.
They're huge.
They are absolutely ginormous. I literally do not have the room. But they're super cool, and they're giving away 3 of the items that they sell on their site. They're all about $100.
They're big
each.
items.
They're around about $100. They're big items, and they come with extra
damn
stickers
good
and
quality.
stuff. Yeah, really good prints. So one of them is a big Indominus Rex. That's part of the first prize, isn't it, Nate?
Yeah.
Big Indominus Rex sticker. Then there's the Mark Engler poster variant, the blue one. That's obviously, it's not the real poster. It's huge wall print, but it's damn awesome. That's the one I've got. And then it's a Jurassic World logo, big, again, massive wall print. That's the third prize.
Do you know how big that Indominus is?
No.
I've no idea, actually. The measurements are on
It's
the side.
got to be at least 6
I think
feet.
it is pretty... I mean, that's what I've got. I'm like...
The
opened
Mark Engler one.
Because I'm like, I don't know what to do with it.
I unrolled the Mark Englert one, the one I've got, and it sort of wrapped on one side. I got like a double bed, right? But it wrapped from one side of the bed all the way around and then back around, and I was kind of like, there's no way that would fit on my wall as it stands. I would have to have it sideways, like the poster sideways. It's so fucking big. But if you've got an Asees-like house, then it would be perfect for you.
It's perfect for your bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Believe it or not, I'm not podcasting from the bathroom.
Where are you podcasting from today?
No wonder it didn't sound like shit.
Zing! I love it.
Okay, so on Instagram we had 356 My Jurassic Selfie posts.
Wow.
Jesus.
Now, give or take, some that I was using to promote it. And then on Twitter, we had about the same. It's always a little fun. You got to go and look at... I always look at both places, and we all did.
There were some great tweets.
I genuinely dislike Twitter's search. Because you can't rely on clicking the hashtag and then clicking photos, because you're only still going to get a selection of them. Even though there's only 300 some, you should be able to go through the whole lot of them. There should be a way that you should say, show me all in chronological order, but Twitter still doesn't have that. So
it also, my issue with Twitter when we used to do, favorite this and win something, was when you'd click who'd favorited it, it would say, 103 or something, and it would only show you 20.
If you click that 103, it should be clickable, then you should get the full drop down.
No, I'm saying
it's not.
It's still not full.
So I used to be able to check.
They only show you. Yeah, I have to use outside programs to tally, because we had like
something
7 I don't even know how 700 retweets on one this June, and I have to use this special program that randomly selects.
Yeah.
One. But when you're trying to find specific ones like photos, oh my gosh, it sucks.
It's weird because Twitter should be for as much as it's used, it should have these features loaded into the program, the app, whatever. If you're using web-based or app-based, it should be there. It's not that.
Right.
Theoretically, it's not that difficult. It's something that's pretty. It's pretty industry standard.
They're tallying that 103 people have liked it. They should be able to display.
Yeah, there should be something that you as a user should be able to look up. Maybe not every other person, but when you're in your account, you should be able to see all that information.
Yeah. Either way, we have a new contest coming, so you can win 3 items from Fathead. There'll be 3 different prizes, and Nate is also throwing in from what I've seen, a huge amount of stuff. Obviously, stay tuned the next couple of days. By the time this podcast goes out, the contest will probably be live, but it'll be online. You'll figure it out from there. So I think what's important is to cover some of the news.
There hasn't been
was
any
news?
really. It's just been slow, and
The thing is, Chris, it actually hasn't,
they're-
and that's what's really annoying about it, because I wanted a break. And
We'll get like a year and a half.
No, I don't
break,
think so. If they're
guarantee it.
smart,
Hopefully.
they're going to keep Jurassic in the airways every so many months throughout.
But why? It's so far away.
No,
what are they gonna
'cause
say?
Jurassic's
Like,
a franchise,
oh.
and it's not just a franchise. It's like, oh, it's a few sequels. No, I mean, if they're smart, there'll be something along the lines of books, comics. You know, they're going to keep it relevant beyond just toys. So hopefully,
You know what?
I feel like with a third biggest movie ever, they're gonna have
Yeah.
to. Like, it'd
You
be
would think so,
stupid
but
not
I wouldn't
to.
be
I
shocked.
mean, because
not,
if you look at Jurassic Park through the first movie up to somewhere right before the third movie, it was a pretty yearly. Like there's always a new toy line. There are always comics. There were books. There were expanded universe books for Jurassic Park 3, which the movie wasn't great. Yeah, there were things that there were books that told the story of Eric, like what he went through on the island.
yeah, I read those.
I never knew
They're
that.
actually
They're
better than
Oh,
the
is
movie.
he?
Hang on. No. Let's slow down a bit for a second.
I know where this is going.
What? Tell me more about these books.
Jack, wasn't there something like there were like velociraptors hunting Triceratops during a thunderstorm or something?
It was pretty damn cool, and they're very hard to come by.
I have them somewhere, and it honestly. And then wasn't there something that was like post
read it.
Jurassic Park 3? I could have sworn it had like something to do with like Grant
Oh
on
my
the island, and they're like building fences along the beach to do like research or something.
Are you kidding me right now?
No, I think that, Chris, was what was gonna come, and I think those.
Oh,
books
okay. Then maybe I read blurbs about them.
because there was 2 Eric books, and then Survival or some shit like that, and then there was in the back of it told you about ones that were coming, and if I remember correctly,
Yeah, because they talked about they're like they're
they-
going to build like a perimeter fence on the beach so they can do like research outposts, and they talked about these characters. I definitely remember reading, if not the books, reading about the books, and it like maybe it was like
exactly,
in the back of the book, like there was like a 10-page preview or something like that, how they used to do. But nonetheless, there was expanded universe stuff for Jurassic Park 3, and it was significantly better than the movie.
it fell through. Though.
Yeah, the movie
Fell
wasn't
through.
big.
It never really.
But they were young adult novels.
Yeah.
They were pretty tiny, probably like 130 pages, 150 pages each. But
I
they
never
were
knew these.
they were good.
Yeah,
At least to me as a kid, I didn't like the movie, and I liked the books.
No, they were good, Chris. I remember reading them. I've got one of them somewhere. I don't know if I've got.
But
both.
that's what I want to see for Jurassic World. And look at how much story potential there is there, especially with the park being open for 10 years. There's a lot of stories I'd like to explore. I mean, I've on Twitter went on kind of like a hopeful tangent about how cool it would be to get like a Netflix series, like a mini series, like a high budget type of thing that.
It's just not. I just don't.
It doesn't seem
see
like
it
if it was
happening.
any other company other than Universal, I'd be like, yeah, dude, it's definitely happening. But just I don't know. I guess Universal would really have to do something that's surprising for Universal. It's just not the way they handle their franchises right now. Hopefully, it'll change.
We'll see how well they handle Jurassic
Maybe with
World.
Legendary.
I mean, I think we can still all agree that they're having it seems like they're having difficulty actually handling post-release of Jurassic World. It's the third highest grossing movie of all time, but the Blu-ray cover
much like
is
their
crap.
marketing campaign, it's very generic. It's not very
It's
fan
generic.
focused. It's very generic. It kind of feels like something that would be like on a Transformers cover or a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cover, something like that. And even the special features, they're not awful sounding. They're very industry standard. They're not like special features for like a fan favorite franchise that has a lot of rich story that people have been following. Some people follow the canon pretty tightly. There's no mention of a making of. It's only an hour of special features.
Wait, there's no making of it?
Judging by the BBFC listings, no.
Oh
Yeah,
my god!
which is-
I haven't
which-
seen them yet. But
which is
Yeah, there's
incredible.
only an
Like, I
hour
can't
of
believe
footage.
they would miss out.
Hour special features, judging by the BBFC listings right now.
half of it.
And
I
yeah,
bet
most
we've
of it
already
sounds
seen.
like a accumulation of the featurettes that were posted online. So
that's
I mean,
unacceptable.
It is unacceptable, Asees.
we didn't get an art
bad.
book. There's a lot of weird things that happen with Jurassic World. The marketing's been very generic. It's like
There's no
they
care.
didn't believe in it, or if they believed in it, their partners didn't.
That doesn't surprise me, honestly.
But yeah, no.
So I
You'd
have
think
talked
they'd
to.
smarten up now,
I talked to one of the guys that does some of the marketing. He bought an ACU hat from me, And
I know who it is.
He said,
he's an awesome guy.
Yes, you do. He's really nice. I've only interacted with him through social media and email, but he seems like a very awesome dude. Anyways, he said, I just kind of asked, now that, the movie's out, even though it's done well, like, are you still gearing up for a release, for the Blu-ray, everything? And he said something to the effect of, we have some more tricks up our sleeve or something like that. So I'm hoping,
Yeah, right.
Really?
Yeah,
What tricks do they have in the first place?
Thank you.
Hey,
This person he's talking about isn't necessarily Universal.
Right. I think, you know how it works. Like, a lot of movie studios will hire out separate firms to help.
I mean, it's no secret.
Someone from Trailer Park?
Trailer Park worked on the website. They did.
Right. And I'd say that was amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
I was lucky enough to tour their studios and meet the Jurassic Park team when I was in Los Angeles, and that was a really awesome experience. Got to talk to them, had a big round table thing, had to sign a non-disclosure agreement for what we talked about, but it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Okay.
They're really, really, really good guys.
So,
I don't think we talked about anything that was it was just standard. You go in there and it's like you can't talk about what you see, standard stuff, because they're working on other projects. So if you walk by someone's computer desk, you can't be like, oh, and when I was there, they were totally working on. I don't know. I didn't see anything, but
right?
That's basically. It was a really cool place with really cool, passionate people who worked on the Jurassic Park team. I was really impressed by the team. And
then why is it not show in the damn movie or in the damn marketing?
Because they were that was the website team I met. I mean, we all agree. JurassicWorld.com, amazing website.
Yeah, A+.
Dude, they killed that. That was amazing.
I didn't meet the team that did the trailers. I don't know if there's any bleed over, but none of them said they did anything on the trailers. I think Trailer Park did the trailers, but I think it was
honestly,
a separate team. I think I met the website team only.
Okay, all right. All I'm saying is, if I worked on the trailer, I wouldn't like boast about it. Like, I worked on the Jurassic World.
It's no secret. I mean, everyone knows I did not like those trailers, and everyone knows that everyone knows that I really don't think that the marketing campaign was very good. I mean, it obviously worked out for them. I don't know if you can say that it was because of the trailers or the marketing campaign, or if it just turned out that people really wanted to see a dinosaur movie and people loved Jurassic Park, or if it was a little bit of everything. I think they got lucky based on the marketing.
Yeah,
for sure. Because the general response to the trailers was,
generic.
And most people that I talked to,
they
said, Jurassic World was a lot better than I expected because those trailers made it look bad. So the thing is, they had a lot of people going in I'm going to see it anyways, but man, this movie's going to be bad. And they walked out, they're like, that movie was good. That movie was a hell of a lot of fun. What the hell is wrong with those trailers?
I don't understand what's wrong with trailers in general these days.
Show
Southpaw's trailer destroyed the entire movie.
So much.
I don't understand what they're trying to do here.
They believe that you gotta. I don't know. So far, the Star Wars trailers have been doing it right, but there's.
Those are still teasers, though. We'll see when the actual trailers start coming out and then the TV spots.
We'll see. J.J. Abrams
change.
has a lot of control over things like that, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if he still keeps it.
Oh man, we'll see.
He'll keep it honed in a little bit more.
I think aside from this, that one of the main pieces of news to come out before we've done a podcast is that the sequel has officially been greenlit, something that is rare in the Jurassic franchise.
Shocked?
Yeah, but the sequel's going to hit cinemas on June 22nd, 2018, which is a good enough gap. I'm glad that they're not. I mean, it's the same amount of time as the other, the previous trilogy.
Oh, okay.
It's 3 years between films. Fine. A lot of people were worried that they would rush, but they haven't.
Yeah,
which is great.
We know full on that they are definitely taking care to do this right. I mean, if you buy into the earlier rumors, which seem to be true, that we heard that. Obviously, the rumor said Colin and Derek are writing the script. They're going to be turning in a draft sometime close to August. And Spielberg needs to approve it, and if he says, yeah, this is the story direction, obviously keep writing the script more, but this first draft is good, then they were going to announce a sequel. Well, shortly before August, we got a sequel announcement, which means they turned in the draft. Spielberg's like, hell yeah, there's a good direction for the franchise, and I think we're going to hear things And I don't know, we might get it. Do you think we'll get a director next year?
I think we'll hear about the script first through Deadline or THR or something, and then I think maybe sometime next year we'll hear about a director. But I really don't know how I feel anymore. Like I'm excited for the sequel, but I'm also incredibly nervous that they're going to screw it up.
What I hope is they bring in a director
and that's
early
not
enough
that's
that
not
they can
any...
still kind of make the movie their own. I don't want like a director for hire necessarily. Like I want Colin's script.
Wait, one sec.
I want Colin Derek's script, but
what
at the
did I
same
miss?
time, I don't know. I want to feel like it's a focused vision from.
Yeah, exactly. And while I completely understand that their script is going to be good, whatever. Like you said, it'd be nice if they did bring in a director that he'd have his chance to put his own touch on it, because I think if Colin's not going to direct it, somebody needs to bring something entirely new.
I think it's a smart idea. I think overall his overall story beats. I think he's definitely the right person for the job. I like his character writing. I'm wondering if some of the humor would work in a sequel. In a lot of ways, I feel like it maybe wouldn't. I feel like a lot of the on-the-nose humor worked because we're in a happy-go-lucky open park. And
no, it doesn't work for anyone.
Like now, afterwards, I'm not sure. I feel like tonally, it's going to have to shift a little bit. But
a lot. I mean, a lot of it didn't work.
I didn't like the friend
Jurassic
zone
World,
scene.
so...
And that's not to say that I wanted them to kiss either. I just don't think there should have been like a romance plot between Lowry and Vivian.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't so much the problem for me. We've said this before, but the kiss with Chris and Bryce it just did not work, in my opinion. It didn't work.
Save it for the end or something. Why did they do it at that point?
And now we're talking about who's.
I usually like a subtlety, like for a Jurassic movie. Obviously, the character interactions—they're very real. They feel, usually very real.
Yeah, I kept
not
hoping for that.
I think sometimes it was beautiful
and it was at the wrong.
Other times, sometimes I just loved it, and other times I was like, I didn't mind it, but honestly, I would prefer if it were up to me, I would have kind of found a way to
rubbing shit on their faces and stuff,
change the tone to something a little bit more subtle at times. But
I just feel like every time I see the Chris, I cringe. Every time I see the kiss,
every time you see,
because it doesn't.
Every
fit,
time I see the Chris,
every time I see the Chris. No, but it doesn't work for me, and it's so in your face, and they're surrounded by people dying, and then they just kiss, and it's like, oh great, that's so sweet. And it's like that's not sweet. That's just stupid. It makes me hate their characters.
My problem is the kiss should have probably happened after she found the kids. Like, it's weird because she's like, the kids are there. Like, I guess I get it because that was supposed to be in the moment and everything like that. But I think maybe it would have been more interesting if she broke away from the kiss and just ran her to the kids. Like, what the hell are you doing? And then he was just kind of left dumbfounded. I think it would have been kind of funny and a little bit more in tone.
I personally would have just cut the kiss. But it doesn't work.
I think.
It's not suited in a Jurassic Park movie.
Did you guys talk about this on a previous podcast? Like, supposedly there were some scenes cut where maybe that would have helped develop their relationship a little bit more.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get that in those. In the three special features
we're talking about.
With Claire and Owen supposedly in the woods, helping develop their relationship a little bit more.
Yep.
The thing I wouldn't say for me, even the kiss didn't bother me as much as there.
It was just weird.
It stays tense. Yes, it doesn't go fucking joke.
But there was this one moment just before that where they're right there at the waterfall and they're talking about all right, let's go find them or whatever.
Walk in the woods, 65 million years ago,
dude. There's. And then it jumps to relax. Like it's this weird. I think they're chopped something out.
They chopped out.
It is the so weird.
They chopped out.
I'm with
down in Dinosaur.
Yeah, it was just the whole movie. I felt was edited really well. Oh, there he goes. Yes.
I think the problem is I think the idea was that Owen was trying to cheer her up it was a pretty dark scene because it was like right before that they jumped, brave kids or smart kids or something like that, and it's like a really tense scene, and then he goes and kind of throws in a one-liner joke, and it's very weird because it's almost like they have no idea if these kids are alive, and that's the problem. Sometimes the humor itself wasn't so much the issue as the times it came in didn't necessarily make sense to me. It's like they almost were too afraid to keep a serious scene serious. Like they're almost every time.
Yeah, I mean, think
I think
about
that's
it
fair.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, because you think about Jurassic Park when they don't know the kids are safe, and it's terrifying.
Yes.
Like their faces, it's so tense.
I think that's
Jurassic
the one.
World, I think that was my one thing with it. Was the humor was a bit too apparent. It was good in parts, and it worked with the park.
It was
being all bright and
charming.
new.
It just
but as soon as shit turned, that's what Chris Pratt said in an interview. There's nothing to laugh about after the 20th page, and I was like, well,
I think
hang
actually
on.
some of the bigger jokes happen after the 20th page.
Yeah,
Exactly.
some of the massive jokes, but a lot of them didn't work for me. The kiss itself, it's my worst moment in a Jurassic movie. I think it just does not work. Has there been a kiss in any other Jurassic movie? No.
There totally will be. We're 3 years
you can change
away.
things up, but it's not about that. Like no one.
We won't even get
The romance
director
in
to director
Jurassic
to
Park
our
was
movie
subtle
next
enough.
month, even
and
if
that's
it
what I
was
like
awesome.
about it, because you wouldn't necessarily call it romance. You would just call it a relationship between characters. I like that.
Yeah.
I like a certain level of ambiguity with character development, like with Grant and Ellie. It's very interesting watching their dynamic, because you kind of do feel like
You know what?
they
Let's
don't
make our own
exactly
fucking
know where they
documentary.
stand. Like they kind of do have a relationship, but at the same time, they're like more like partners and friends. And I think to me that's
Use
more
future story
fascinating
ideas?
to me to watch and analyze, because it's most of the time most relationships aren't as obvious and in your face. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with Jurassic World's relationships necessarily, but it's not necessarily what I wanted out of a Jurassic film as well. I mean, it's very Indiana Jones. I brought that analogy up before. It's very kind of goofy and fun and funny and adventurous.
Wait, what?
And maybe a little bit too on the nose, in my opinion. Not that it was bad. It wasn't bad. It just comes down to personal opinion.
Yeah.
For me, I just would have, preferred something a little bit more subtle.
Yeah.
That's just me. I love the movie. Don't get me wrong. It's just
No, exactly. Same here, man. I mean, it did a good thing. And so the sequel is going to be on its way. But, I mean, I'm kind of hoping there's a bit of a gap. Like Asees was saying, a bit of a time off, almost, between it. Because, yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm concerned. Like, I hadn't really paid attention to the Blu-ray features. I kind of just let Ryan write the article up. But, no making of? What the hell?
Yeah.
Seriously? Really? Is that really a thing?
Part of me wonders, though, if the reason why there's no making of is so they can have, how we're saying, like, what's going to be between now and 2018?
Yeah, keep the
what's gonna
hype
be between
up.
now and 2018?
Yep.
Well, there's going to be the ultimate edition
That sounds
of
really
Jurassic World that
expensive,
comes
though.
out.
That sounds really expensive to put just for a Blu-ray.
What
That sounds
article
like
was it? I think
$1 million
Real
plus.
Tours posted it, but they talked about a scene where there was like a stampede.
Yeah, but they're
with
not
the
going to.
Gallimimus
That's the thing,
with
though.
the Indominus Rex that the ACU gets caught up in, and there's apparently they made previs for it and made it
Really?
as far as that, where I guess that scene when we see the Gallimimus running next to the vehicle. Apparently, it breaks off into something where the dinosaurs are stampeding and being chased by the Indominus Rex or something like that. I like I said, I haven't had internet for a while, so I missed a lot of the stuff that was coming out. A lot of the posthumous stuff.
I hope
about
they don't.
Jurassic
That's so
World,
cheap.
that
That's
the
such a
effects
cheap
breakdown where they
Just don't
talked
do
about
that.
scenes that didn't fully make the cut. And it makes me wonder how many things they kind of filmed this stuff for, but then cut somewhere before they went into post production. So they kind of filmed the plate footage, but then didn't create something with it. And
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing I want to see on a Blu-ray.
even if this
Then you have
is
to get Colin
Colin's
back to do
director's
it, though.
cut, that doesn't necessarily mean that the studio won't do an extended cut with a few more effect shots and a few more things. Because
I guess.
honestly, it's a really big movie, and they could benefit a lot from what if we see something like the
Jesus
ACU
Christ.
tranking the Pachycephalosaur, things like along those lines, or that whole stampede scene. It could be, but when you're the third. Well,
I think they can afford
the
it.
third highest grossing film. Haven't you ever heard of Lord of the Rings or hell even? The
I don't think
Hobbit?
we'll ever
Hobbit
see that,
movies aren't
honestly.
even that well adored, and the extended editions are full brand
We're never
new
gonna see
effect
that, man.
sequences and everything. They've got. I mean, their extended editions are really fully featured. They completely, They had to do CG and a lot of other things, music for them. No, I wouldn't put it past them as a possibility, because the reason why they could do it is they could do a theatrical re-release next summer, 3D, see it with 10 minutes of extra footage, more dinosaur footage, maybe if the footage is
there were
good,
small movies.
If it gives fans what they want, if it gives the fan base, if they're saying we wanted to see more of the park, and we wanted to see more of this dinosaur or that dinosaur, and it does it well, and it's actually integrated into the movie seamlessly, and it's something that existed in Colin's original vision, I wouldn't necessarily have anything wrong with it. If it's something that's slapped on, possibly, but it's very possible he filmed the stuff already if they just need to do the CG. I mean, you look at movies like Avatar, they did a theatrical re-release with the extended edition, and it had some really beautiful new shots in the movie. And I'm trying to think of other movies that did that. Most just go to Blu-ray with it. Oh, but this tangent, it broke off the fact that I wouldn't be surprised if they do a making of, or like the road to Jurassic World, talking about like 14 years of development hell. I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out as a standalone piece next year, or like extended collector's Blu-ray or something like that.
It shouldn't be like that.
I mean, it depends on how.
No, it shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't have to buy another
but
Blu-ray.
At the same time, if they literally if they never thought this movie would be big, and they literally never prepared for it, and this is the only way we can get it, I'll take it. But learn from these mistakes and do a better job next time. Because honestly, where's our art book? I mean, when movies like District 9 and Chappie...
Oh, before we leave, though, why is Bryce Dallas Howard
those are
coming
cool
back?
movies.
Isn't her story done?
They don't make a ton of money.
We don't need her. Get her out of here.
And they have these beautiful, amazing art books.
Thing is, as well, they made us take down all of the artwork and the concept art that the artists themselves had put up. But then suddenly there's no art book. It's like, well, what are you hiding it from?
Is it going to be on the Blu-ray?
The movie's public now. Everyone wants to appreciate the work. It's not going to be on the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray is going to be so
basic. All of the
basic,
Jurassic movies before this had a concept art gallery, though, so I'm kind of hopeful. I hope.
Yeah, but all other Jurassic movies
It was before Universal.
Yeah,
Universal kind of went through a tonal shift right after Jurassic Park 3. Like for the past over 10 years, they've kind of become a little bit more of a kind of movie by movie.
Does Claire even know InGen though?
A studio that doesn't really do too many hot movies anymore. I guess the biggest thing they've done since Jurassic 3 was King Kong, and after that, it's got really quiet. Like they stopped. No, Furious. I wouldn't really call it the same type of franchise though. That's more of like an action movie. Like it's more about the actors in that movie. It's not. They don't have you're not gonna have the art of or the world of Furious 7, but you are gonna have the world of Kong and the world of Jurassic World. Of course, that doesn't sound right. The universe of Jurassic World, the world of Jurassic.
It doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I
don't. But let's split from this tangent for a sec, and let's. Well, yeah, agreed. Her story's done. Her story's over.
Hold on.
Now, my issue with it, Asees, just quickly, is that now it seems like they're basing this franchise on who's in it. And it's never been about who's in it. It's never been about stars.
I agree that's a little bit worrying to me because we've never really had two people that are like a partner in a movie come back together as a partner. However, I was thinking about Bryce's role and assuming that InGen is still, and I think InGen is staying afloat because they're divorced enough with their private security sector. I think InGen's staying afloat. With Mizrani dead, who knows InGen that's not an InGen anymore? And I think Claire would be like one of the few people that... I would assume so. She would have to work with him quite a bit, and it seems like she was pretty close with Simon, and I'm assuming that she worked with InGen's security firm, because they obviously associated themselves with Jurassic World, plus she oversaw InGen's biotech firm who cloned the dinosaurs within Jurassic World. So she's done what I'm saying.
I don't feel like they changed her character over the movie. Her arc was enough of a change that she doesn't want anything to do with it anymore.
Thing is, so if...
But here's the thing I would say. Wouldn't we all... I mean, I love The Lost World, but we all were in the back of our minds as, however old we are, little kids. You wanted to see Sam Neill and you wanted to see Laura Dern back.
I guess though, in a way, I never saw their arc as a romance arc. Sam Neill and Laura Dern's. I saw it as character growth between them, but I never saw it as like a flat-out romance arc. And I think if Bryce and Chris Pratt, if their characters didn't feel so it felt too much like a romance arc, but it just felt like character growth and development a little bit more seamlessly. I think that's what turns me off from it a little bit, but at the same time I think her character actually is a very important character post the events of Jurassic World. you've got to imagine there's going to be lawsuits, there's going to be things, and dinosaurs are still going to be existing in this world, still going to be cloned. And who the hell else?
Yeah, but we never see, and we probably never will see her sitting in an office.
No, but we're going to hear about it.
You can say that's an important factor, and it is an important factor. But yeah, we're going to hear about it. But we don't need to see Bryce Dallas Howard for us to agree with that. She's going to distance herself from Jurassic World and from Masrani and from India. That's what she's going to do.
No, I think obviously,
maybe that's our ticket back to the island.
I think what's going to ultimately happen is Owen he chose to work with dinosaurs. He chose to be in harm's way. I don't think that he would be opposed to working with dinosaurs again if he thought the same mistakes necessarily, or if he thought the mistakes, basically, if somebody's going to get hurt, it's going to be me, not thousands of visitors. I think Owen would be fine working with dinosaurs again. In fact, I think he'd have an attraction to it. I think it'd be hard for him to get away from working with velociraptors for 10 years and then just being like, I'm done. No, he's not like Alan Grant, where he was just a visitor to the island, was awestruck by it, and then horrified by it. No, this was part of his life. And I think the same thing with Claire, and I think that's the thing that's important to realize. These people chose these jobs, but also she's integral into Jurassic World. She was very deep within Masrani Global, and she definitely oversaw Engine. Now, if Engine's still a big part of the world and they're still doing things, and say they're less than favorable things and our characters are going to be butting heads with them, who else would be a perfect person on your team to know and handle the situation other than Claire? And I think that is ultimately,
no one's buying into it.
Could have a lot more importance to her than we realize. It just depends on how it's written. But I mean, I think that she could be a lot more.
I just don't see it
than I think that we're giving her credit for, and that's simply because we only saw Claire as a corporate manager and not necessarily somebody. We don't get to see the things that she knows. She doesn't necessarily spout out facts about dinosaurs. It doesn't mean she doesn't know them. We don't see her talk about who works for Engine and how the politics of the corporation runs. But I still believe that if somebody knows them, it's her, not Owen. Owen was a bit of like a recluse.
Look, Owen's...
Yeah.
You guys there?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's just Asees that isn't. Owen's no doubt going to come back. Like, Chris Pratt's character is going to come back because he's leading the franchise now, and it makes sense for his character to come back. And from one side, I can completely agree with what you're saying, Chris. It does make sense. But I just don't see her character coming back, and I don't think it's necessary. You could... there's examples, there's reasons why she would, but it's not prominent. It's not important enough. I don't think she should come back. And plus, I think more of it is the worry that because their romance was so forced,
I'm worried it's going to be like
a romance.
I
didn't like it. I worry that if they bring their two characters back, it's purely because they have a romance going and people are buying into this. It's like, well, not necessarily. I'm not buying into it. I didn't like it. I didn't think it worked. And that's what I mean when it said they were both signed on. I was like, well, why though? The previous Jurassic movies have never been about the cast, and it's never been about who's leading it and who the main character is and what their relationship.
Well,
with the
it's been about these relationships, but it's
Lost
not been
World.
an ongoing relationship. Like, let's keep watching Ellie and Grant.
No, yeah, that's what I mean.
Fall deeper in love, or something like that.
I think Lost World did it perfectly, where it had one character that people really liked from the first one come back in a completely changed role. Like, he was a different person because of what had happened on the island, and I loved that.
I actually didn't think
so good.
I didn't feel like that's why he's a different person. I felt like the reason why he's a different person in the Lost World was because his daughter was in the mix. His daughter and his girlfriend were in the mix of things. I think he would have been a sarcastic asshole the entire
me too.
movie.
Best Jurassic Park movie ever.
Cared about, stuck in the mix of it.
No, I don't think so. I think it was because people criticize that. They say, why was this character so different?
Okay.
It's like, well, think about how fucked up. Like,
I think we were seeing him as a father, not
Feathers?
as a show-off scientist.
Yeah.
I think that was really the difference.
If we are going down the
because he was
military
acting
dinosaur
like that
route, I'm sure there's going to be like two.
Yeah, because he was
opposing
acting that way
dinosaurs,
because
even though we might not like that idea.
I think it's
There's
because
gonna
of
be
Sarah.
good
And
Owen's
honestly,
dinosaurs and then the bad Wu dinosaurs. Guarantee.
Yeah,
I
liked
more
what
realistic
they did in
to what
Lost
they were in real
World.
life.
They had a returning
we
character.
learned something new about them.
So it's going to be our scaly dinosaur friends
completely new.
versus
They became a
the,
different character almost, and then they
furry
bring in a
dinosaur
load of
friends.
new awesome characters.
And that's
Like
what's gonna
I
happen.
love Vince.
Great.
So many people hate him.
Guaranteed.
That's the same thing with like True Detective season
Absolutely
2,
love him.
which honestly I think is an awful, confusing mess. But the acting is fantastic, and Vince Vaughn's great in it. But so many people are like, "Oh, Vince Vaughn shouldn't be in this; he's ruining it." I'm like, "Are you watching the same thing as
so
me?"
if
Because
the feathers are like
great in it, in my
super,
opinion.
he's
Yeah.
really good. It's just his a lot of the
exactly
roles he
right.
does
It's
It's comedy.
just
It
background.
doesn't
But
show him
he
as
clearly
bad.
No,
can
but
do
they're super
serious
subtle
roles
and not on the main
semi-serious
dinosaurs.
roles very
I
well.
want to see
find
the
him very
fuzzy bastards
believable.
for like 5
I think
minutes.
Yeah, I really liked.
I loved
The
him in Lost
man.
World.
What's the main
He
point?
was fantastic in that. Yeah, I love the Lost World.
Yeah, the Lost
as a
World's
whole.
honestly.
Whoa!
Yes.
Whoa!
It happens.
Asees. This is completely off, but last night you were telling me something interesting.
Man, Jack
I think
doesn't
these
like
guys would be
feathers.
interested to hear it about feathers.
Oh, they will. They will. Half an act. Yeah. Yeah.
And you said I
don't know. I
but
think-
you said
No,
you
I
didn't
think
mind
I'm
feathers
for it.
necessarily. You didn't tell me that this was your theory last night, but you basically said I wouldn't mind if there were feathers if they do it a certain way. So essentially, what you're saying is you don't mind if there's feathers if they don't overtake the Jurassic Park dinosaurs. If the Jurassic Park dinosaurs still, that's what I've been saying since the beginning. I don't want to see
No,
a
but
fuzzy
okay,
T-Rex.
but guys, you're
Human
missing
dinosaur.
the main
Fuzzy
point. Okay,
T-Rex.
I
That'd be
understand that
horrible.
they could bring in feathers. I understand that, but you're forgetting that. Okay, it's so hard to explain. Do you know what? Even fuck it, I don't care. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Let's fuck it.
Yeah,
I'm
with
not going. I can't.
Okay, but here's the question: what is
Go on.
the
No, it's not that, man. I just can't be asked to explain what's going on in my head right now.
what is a percentage that we get back to newborn? Like
It
10?
depends on if they decide to bring Blue back or not. If they decide to bring Blue back, we might visit the island for like a set piece. Like for like a half an hour set piece or something where they decide to get Blue. Because if Velociraptors come into the mix and no one's like, only I can stop this, but I need help first, and then we're back and we're getting Blue, and then it's going to be cheesy as fuck probably, but it might be fun. I'm kind of hoping they avoid that route. I'm really hoping that militarized animals is a little bit of the movie's MacGuffin. So it's the reason why InGen is still cloning dinosaurs. It's the reason why InGen is being floated and kept alive.
You're not wrong.
Because they've got big,
That's
big backers that are interested in the technology they can provide, and not just dinosaurs. I think that the technology, the biotech that they use to create the Indominus Rex
What
is
the
actually
fuck
very
is that?
interesting, and it could be used for human betterment, theoretically, in a very dark.
That's
and
a good point to
twisted
wrap
way.
it up, I think, right?
Belt buckle and all.
I think it's going to be a MacGuffin, but we all even saw when Colin in those interviews he talked about it. He never really talked about the military aspect. He talked about kind of a corporate arms race, Apple versus PC. So I think it sounds very clear we're going to see other corporations step in. After the falling of Jurassic World, they're going to come in and try to cash in on
you're right,
what
100%.
InGen was
I didn't
doing.
even think about that.
And also, let's be honest here: if InGen in Jurassic World never had a fucking aviary filled with pteranodons, the park would have never closed. Because you would only have employees that died, and everybody else would be fine. The park would be open if they didn't have pteranodons. The Indominus Rex, she accidentally let the pteranodons free, but they would have, all their ACU and all their forces would have converged on the Indominus Rex. The reason why they couldn't do that is because they're busy dealing with hundreds of pteranodons that are going around and killing people left and right and flying around the island. Yeah, otherwise they would have been fine. They could have put a perimeter. They could have put a perimeter around the around the visitor center.
May I have your attention, please?
I think it's
Will
still open.
Mary
Who gives a shit?
Bradley, please come to the circulation desk. Mary Bradley.
What was that?
That was
that you,
over
Chris?
the overhead speaker system. Sorry.
Jesus. Well, Mary, I hope you get that.
No.
Yeah, it's a good time to wrap, guys.
talk about
We will have
everything?
to do this again because there is a lot more to talk about. We talked about the basics, man.
But hold on, wait. Am I wrong about the pteranodons? Or yeah, if they didn't have pteranodons, the park would be open. The biggest issue were pteranodons were non-containable animals.
Yeah, because all they would have to do is rebuild Main Street.
Yeah, everyone would be on...
Because it got trashed.
Like the Indominus...
And they cover it up.
The Indominus Rex is one thing. They bring everyone back in, and then eventually they take out the Indominus Rex, some employees die, they write it off as however they wanted to write it off, and they say, sorry for the inconvenience, everybody. So we go out here, we repair this fence, we repair that fence, but for the most part, the only thing they have to worry about are ankylosaurs out beyond the fence. And, things along those lines. Otherwise, it just kind of works. Like, I don't know, I think the park would be open if they didn't have Pteranodons.
Wait, hang on. Why weren't there any bunkers?
I still think there's a chance they can do it. I think
Jurassic
they
Park
can
Operation
still,
Genesis, like basic stuff. Guys.
Obviously, if a junior high and high school kid can rig a car to a 22-year-old car to get it working,
God, they're so stupid.
Surely,
God, I didn't think
I've
the park can be open.
No, I agree, and I think as well. I think we could go into this for so long. Maybe we should save it for a specific
Global is dead.
pod because there are theories. But I think the thing is,
builders.
You got to think that when the Indominus and the T-Rex and everything were fighting and the end battle, the visitors were all in the hotel, so there's a chance no one ever saw it.
There's no way they didn't see that.
He's gonna be the main character.
They were across the bay, but there's
villain.
no. I mean, we never saw them. We never saw them
Somebody
seeing it. It never came up as a thing.
That's the thing.
Yeah, but that's you assuming. Like maybe no one did.
I mean, even if they didn't see that, the fact is they still saw the aviary. They still,
Yeah, they saw the Pteranodons. Yeah,
got killed by
all
them,
that.
so,
Yeah,
I mean, even with that, I think the thing is that type of accident on that large of a scale,
Best part of Jurassic
they weren't
World,
able to get everybody to safety. They weren't able to get everybody off the island immediately. That's going to sink the company. If they were able to bring everyone into bunkers and there were a few isolated deaths, maybe they could stay afloat. Where were the bunkers? I have no idea. That was clearly 101. You have bunkers strategically placed around, but no, for real. Like at a place like this, when you're on an isolated island and you have guests, you need safety measures because what if a giant storm rolled in? You need places to lock people down.
Maybe they were in bunkers though.
Maybe, but then why were they all flooded on Main Street without anywhere to go, looking like?
Oh yeah. Good point.
All right, so here's the main question, and we can leave, or I can leave and be done and satisfied with this. Does Jimmy Buffett have a reoccurring role in the next movie?
He should just show up as
Dude, talk about the most low-profile character that's just blown up.
I can't believe how many people.
Everyone at Comic-Con is dressing like
how
him.
many people
It's
noticed
amazing.
that? People that didn't.
I know.
Half a second long scene where he grabs those two margaritas and runs. But people who didn't even know that was Jimmy Buffett, or random casual fans were like, "How about that guy who grabbed the margaritas?" I'm like, man, people noticed that scene so well. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's actually pretty genius. Damn, I wonder how many Main Street scenes were cut. Though I really cannot help but feel like a lot of things were cut from Main Street because we didn't get to.
I think a lot.
We
of
didn't get to
things
see
were.
inside of half the buildings, and we know that they had built real working interiors for the majority of those buildings. I think.
Well, we're not going to find out on the
sure.
Blu-ray. That's a disappointment, man. That Blu-ray.
I wonder if we're even going to see inside of the gift shop, or if they're not going to do that because their Jurassic World toys didn't make the final cut.
We got a better shot of the gift shop on that USA or Good Morning America piece.
We didn't.
Cool.
Than we did in the movie.
The only time
Yeah.
we went into the gift shop in the movie actually was at the end, and it wasn't where they were hiding from the Indominus Rex. That was actually a little. Yeah, they ran through it because that little thing that when the Indominus Rex was clawing for Ty, they were inside of a little outpost, like a little gift outpost, a little kiosk.
That was deep.
But then they run through it, and you actually, if you look for a split second, you can see a Lost World bull T-Rex.
I'm in.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
gift shop.
In kind of Jurassic World.
No.
packaging.
It's actually sitting, not even in packaging. It's standing, it's a standing. Like when they run by, it's there for a split second. But yeah, you don't get to see.
It's when the raptor crashes through the glass or whatever, right?
Isn't that funny? They used a bull T-Rex, really one of the best Jurassic Park toys there was, and then the Jurassic World toy line that Hasbro have done, the T-Rex looks like a piece of shit.
It's because they had an awful 3D
it's
model.
Unbelievably
it's an awful
crap.
3D model they replicated with each of the items, and through each iteration, they had the 3D model go up and up and up and up. So and it's
Just crap. Absolute
By the way, go watch
trash.
Ant-Man. It was really good.
I think we'll have to save
Bye-bye.
the Hasbro chat though for another podcast because Asees has got to run. I got to run. It has been fun, Nate.
any last words?
Goodbye.
Nope, I'm good.
You hate Marvel.
Good man. We'll have to do this again sometime.
For sure.
It's exciting times because we don't know what the future holds, but we also know the future holds stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's the interesting thing. For the first time in a very long time, we know the future holds more Jurassic, but we just don't know.
Yeah, we know there's something on the horizon now.
It's very real. It's
good.
very
I'm
attainable.
looking forward to
Thanks,
it, but
Phil.
it's,
but we just don't know what it
Bye
is.
bye.
And you better believe, you better get your asses to LA next
Right.
time, boys. Just saying.
Yeah, seriously, one giant Jurassic party out there in LA.
Dude, come
yeah,
on.
if me and Asees were able to, I'm sure we definitely would have been there.
No.
So yeah, we'll see about next year, guys. Or not next year, yeah, whenever.
I mean, we
You
can go
heard it
next
first.
year.
We're just gonna
but, you know.
we're gonna go to LA next year and crash some other party and pretend like it's
Crash some
and be
random
like
show,
Jurassic
yeah.
Park. We'll go to whatever Marvel
World
premiere there is. And be like Jurassic Park.
We'll have to pick from like 5 of them, probably.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Which sequel will it be? Cool. All right. Well, farewell, guys. See you.
Oh, what? Really? Okay,
Ant-Man is
I need
really
to
good.
see it, yeah.
It's very
I
good.
just-
Surprised. I was really surprised. Went in open-minded.
Yeah, I'm surprised you like
Surprised.
it. You
Loved it.
You really have just not even.
I hate Marvel. Well, I don't hate Marvel. I take that back. I'm
really-
sick of superhero movies, right? But Ant-Man focuses on one small family, and it's so good. It's so funny. It's so well done. Go
Okay.
see Ant-Man.
There it is.